All right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and a new supplier in to see me here, Massanois Imports. I don't know what's up with that name, but these guys are out of Scarsdale, New York, and they get some pretty good wines. You know, the first one, Chapoutier's newest project in Alsace, which this wine is called Schieferkopf, which has something to do with the schist, and I don't know, just one of the dumbest names I've heard for a wine. Anyways, I mean, first rule of naming a wine. Let's pick something you can pronounce in the market you're going to sell it in. And I know this is probably sold in several other countries, but can we come up with a better name for the U.S. markets? Anyways, this is a classic Riesling. Very good. White peach, lime, citrus fruits, and briny notes. Pretty white flowers on the nose. A classic Riesling on the palate. Nice amount of that peach and lime citrus. A fresh, clean, mineral-driven wine with some of those slate-like notes on the finish. Very good wine at $25.50. And like I said, just didn't care for the name. And the next wine from Rosso di Montepulciano. This is Salcheto. It's a blend of 95% Sangiovese, 5% Merlot, all stainless fermented. This winery's won an award for being the most sustainable winery in Italy. Let's win some awards for making the best wine in Italy now. Okay. Well, this is a pretty good wine, though. It was forward seductive, kind of red cherry and plum fruit, a touch of fresh earth, fine herbs, kind of a raw steak-like aroma. Bright wine on the tongue with that lovely red berry and plum fruit, hints of earth, a short but pleasant finish. Very good little wine. These Rosso di Montepulcianos can be excellent values, but I mean, I've got Vino Nobile de Montepulcianos at the same price, so a little bit expensive for what it is, but a nice wine. The 2011 Bruna Grimaldi, Nebbiolo di Alba Bricola, and the fruit here is from the town of Grinzani Cavour. Wait a minute, where did that? Just said that name. Oh, it's the same exact village of the Las Pinedas, Barolo Campe. And this is a small family-owned winery. This guy's got that menthol and pretty floral notes that you get from this town, along with some bright red cherry fruit, exotic spice. A really nice wine on the palate. Has some tannins here. It's 2011, but still a really nice drinkable Nebbiolo. These Nebbiolos are the entry-level wines, usually very drinkable on release. Has notes of that menthol and mint from the nose again at the finish. Very good juice at $24.50. Next up, we had the Fangoli Montefalco Rosso, which this wine is from Umbria, and the Rossos from Montefalco are mostly Sangiovese. The local grape Sagrantino de Montefalco plays a small part in the blend. This wine's aged 1 year longer by law. Reservas in Italy actually mean something, unlike in a lot of other countries. So 2 years for a regular, 3 years for a Reserva from this part of Italy. And a higher percentage of Sagrantino, also 20%. Doesn't seem that high, but for the Rossos, I guess it is. This wine's got a certain wild nuance that you get from that Sagrantino varietal, along with black spices and kind of minty notes. Really nice structure and depth of flavor showing on the tongue with a firm hand of acidity, that lovely fresh earth and wild kind of rustic note to it showing through on the finish from the Sagrantino. Has some tannins here, but lots of everything else. This wine just needs a little bit of time. Excellent juice at $31.50. Next up, an estate from Tuscany, Tenuta Degli Dei, which means the house of the gods. And the Reigns, the name of the wine, refers to horses, as this producer is a big horse lover. And this wine's a blend of 90% Merlot and 10% Alicante Boucher, and has a really unique bouquet. It's from Panzano, kind of rustic, and this wine's made in a rustic old schoolhouse. And the wild flowers and herbs, dried meats and spices, to the black and red cherry and currant berry fruit on the nose. This wine's plump and round on the palate. A lot of that fruit showing on the palate. Some nice spice and game notes as well. And that Alicante gives you that wild and the dry tannins coming through on the finish. Really well built and balanced. Big, but still fresh at the end. Excellent juice at $28. And then the big wine, the Cavalli, which is the family name. You may have heard that name before because they made their fortune in the fashion industry. But as I mentioned, this generation more interested in horses and making wine. So a blend of 60% Cab, the rest Petit Verdot and Cabernet Franc, a Bordeaux blended. On the nose, you could mistake this wine for Bordeaux. Has a lot of that dark cherry, cassis berry fruit, and dark spices, toccio, compensa lead, graphite notes there showing. And a big and chewy wine on the tongue. This wine even better on the second day. It needed a whole day to open up. Cassis, currant berry fruit, earthy tones, and that toasty oak spice, that graphite minerality, dark cocoa showing through on the finish. Really long, excellent juice at $45. I don't know if I would pick this out as Tuscan, but it's a pretty damn good wine. All right, I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.